Hello and welcome back to Fallout 76. Once again, it's time for some legendary crafting, and today I will be doing civil engineer armor. I'm going to try and put a set together for my main character. Currently, I'm running Secret Service armor. What I have is not an amazing set. It's good enough because I got tired of crafting Secret Service. If you've ever rolled armor in this game, you know it is not the most fun pursuit. And I like the idea of having a set that's tradable. I've actually rolled a lot of unyielding pieces over the years on this character, and the character's full health. So I'm rolling pieces that are really no good for the character that I know other people would love to have, or even one of my other characters would like to have. So I decide I want to go with a set that I can fully trade between my other characters or other players. So I have rolled 10 of each kind of armor, of each piece of armor. So 10 torsos, 10 of each of the limbs. And we're going to roll all of them. So 150 legendary modules, which is what, 7,500 legendary scripts. So we're going to spend quite a bit today. So let's get right to it. We will roll a torso to start out with. And we've got a cloaking with poison resist and breathe underwater. So this character is full health, which means I don't necessarily have to have a specific prefix on the first star. There's a lot of different options that I have available to me. Cloaking is never going to be one of those things that I choose. I just don't see how that could be useful. Once an enemy hits you with a melee attack, they're right in your face. I don't see how turning invisible at that point is going to be super helpful. So I'm not interested in that ever. Poison resist, that is a good effect. I don't run funky duds. I do other things with my legendary perks. So poison resist is a very desirable effect. Breathe underwater, not super helpful in this game. It's not like we have an abundance of underwater levels. So that's not something I want either. Now let's do a left arm, and we've got an auto stim with what else? Auto stim, less explosion, damage, and junk weight reduction. Okay, so auto stim, that's another effect I don't really care for. If I'm that concerned with it, I can always put on board Survivor, but generally that's not an issue either. So auto stim is okay, but the thing I don't like about it, let's see, it's an okay effect. It's not necessarily something I'm going after, but it's an okay effect. Less explosion damage. I tend to run fireproof, which is good enough in most cases. So that 7%, it's an okay effect, but I'm not necessarily loving that. And junk weight reduction, I have Fallout First, so I can put down a tent really whenever I need it. So junk weight reduction isn't all that useful. So overall, this is not the best piece. Next up, we've got a left leg, and that will be Nocturnal with less explosion damage and junk weight. Okay, so the same two second and third stars that we just had on the last piece. So my opinion hasn't changed between now and then. So we've got Nocturnal. I'm not really looking for extra damage resistance just in general. This gives you plenty on the set. And this only gives you a bonus half the time. So overall, this is a piece that is destined for the script machine. Next, we've got a right arm, and that will be Hunters with +1 perception and increased sweet spot while picking locks. Well, that third star is completely useless. I do have Master Infiltrator at maximum rank, so every lock is an auto click, so that's not helpful at all. +1 perception, my perception's high enough that +1 isn't going to make a difference at all. Now, Hunters could be okay. I don't actually mind doing a mix and match set of enemy damage reductions, so Hunters could be okay, although animals don't tend to be the most dangerous as well, but overall, this is not that great either. And we have a right leg, and it is Zealots with +1 intelligence and less damage taken while blocking. So Zealots, part of a mix and match set, Zealots is actually probably one of the more useful ones just because there are so many Scorched in the world. +1 intelligence, that could be helpful with leveling. At this point with this character, I don't even care a little bit about leveling, so that's not useful to me. And I don't ever block. This is a ranged character, so blocking's not a thing either. So yeah, this is not all that useful. All right, that was a pretty rough start. So let's go through another set here. So we've got a chest piece, and it will be Troubleshooters with fire resistance and breathe underwater. Okay, so Troubleshooters, one of my more preferred effects for a full health character on armor because robots tend to be some of the more dangerous enemies that you get. So reducing their damage by 15% is really good. Fire resist is one of the effects I like on second stars. Fire resist, poison resist, AP refresh are the most desirable. The AP refresh with Company T is, I don't really need it that much, but I will take it. Breathe underwater, again, not really useful in this game unless they plan to add maybe the next map expansion will have a lot of underwater levels. That'll be cool, but for now, not all that useful. But this is an okay piece. Time for another left arm, and this one will be Exterminators with Radiation Resist and Radiation Recovery. Okay, Exterminators could be part of a mix and match set, so that's okay. Radiation Resistance, not super helpful. The armor already has Radiation Resistance, and I have What Rads at maximum rank, so an extra 25 one way or the other will not be something I'll notice, and the same goes for Radiation Recovery. That's not super useful either. So this is effectively a 1-star, and I am not interested in 1-star pieces. And another left leg, got a little tongue-tied there, is Hunters with +1 Charisma and chance to reduce damage while not moving. Okay, Hunters, part of a mix and match could be good. +1 Charisma, that could help you save on caps, but I don't really have anything to buy with this character at this point, so Charisma's not a useful special at all, so that's not good. And that third one, I don't tend to spend a lot of time not moving. So that 3rd star, I know it's one that could be desirable for people, but for me, the way I play, it's not helpful at all. So this is basically another 1-star that I'm not interested in. Next up, we've got a right arm, which is Nocturnal and Cryo Resist and more effective Stimpaks, Radaway, and Radex. Nocturnal, I'm just not looking for extra resistance. I'd rather have damage reduction over damage resistance. So that 1st star isn't something I want. Cryo Resist, not super useful in this game. There's not really much in the way of cryo damage. The only case where there's any kind of cryo anything is when you are in daily op and the mutated enemy does, it slows you down with cryo. Unfortunately, this doesn't help with that. It only helps with cryo damage. So I don't think that 2nd star really does anything. In that 3rd star, extra 5% on Stimpaks, I don't really care. So yeah, this is definitely script. Now we've got a right leg, and it is Unyielding with less explosion damage and more effective Stimpaks, Radaway, and Radex. So Unyielding, obviously not useful for a full health character, but it could be useful for, and I do have a low health character that could make use of that. Less explosion damage is okay. It's not generally what I'm looking for, but it's okay. That 3rd star though, not really interested in that. So this is one of those so-so civil or unyielding pieces that probably won't get used. Next up, we've got another torso. I think this is torso number 3, and this one is Auto Stim, Hunger and Thirst grow slower, and chance to deal fire damage to a melee attacker. Auto Stim, I mean, it's okay. It's not the best, so if the other 2 effects were perfect, I'd consider it, but they are not. Hunger and Thirst growing slower, not really an issue. I tend to use food in combination with Perfect Bubblegum, so Hunger and Thirst is not an issue at all. And 5% chance to deal damage to melee attackers, it's okay. Like, it's an okay effect. Again, if the first 2 stars were perfect, that would be fine, but they're not. Basically, this is no stars that I'm interested in. This time we've got a left arm, and it is Assassins with Radiation Resistance and breaks slower. Assassins, part of a mix and match, although humans are not really the most dangerous. So if I'm doing a mix and match set, I'm not really looking to have Assassins as part of that set. Radiation Resistance, I've already mentioned, I'm not interested in that because I have What Rads. Breaks slower. Unless you are taking a lot of hits, you know, if I'm playing melee, a melee character, then break slower is actually a pretty good 3rd star because melee seems to break really quickly. But I'm a ranged character, I don't take a lot of hits. So for the most part, I'd rather have other stars. That's not a terrible star, but it's not something I'm necessarily looking for. Overall, this is just 3 stars I'm not interested in. Left leg this time, we've got Hunters with chance to reduce disease resist from environmental hazards and break slower again. Okay, Hunters, part of a mix and match could be okay. I don't really care. I have a lot of disease cures, so less disease chance. And again, that's another one of those. I don't know if it's ever doing anything. You don't get any kind of prompt or anything that's telling you when you resist a disease. So I don't even know if that's doing anything. And breaks slower again. That's an okay 3rd star if the first 2 are great, but the first 2 aren't great. Got a right arm this time, and it's Aristocrats with, less explosion damage and weapon weight reduction. Okay, that's the first appearance of weapon weight reduction. Now, I don't generally carry a lot of weapons, so it's not necessarily a star that I have to have, but it's also not a star it's a very good star. Especially if you're at an event like Eviction Notice, it's very helpful. Having a full set of weapon weight reduction often means you can just loot the whole place and fast travel away without having to store anything. So weapon weight's actually a really good star, but it's not one that I have to have. Less explosion damage, that's an okay effect. If you have a full set, that could be good, but just having one piece, 7%, probably not gonna do a whole lot. And Aristocrats, it's just giving you extra resistance, which I'm not really looking for. I'm looking for damage reduction. So yeah, this would be a good one for maybe a mule or something. And we've got a right leg, and it is another unyielding with +1 endurance and less fall damage. Okay, well, unyielding, obviously not useful for this character, but it could be useful to someone. +1 endurance, generally not a second star that you're looking for. Probably most people are not looking for +1 endurance, although it would give you extra health, which I guess is good if you are playing unyielding. And fall damage, less fall damage could be okay, especially if you had 2 pieces. If you have 2 pieces of minus 50% fall damage armor, then you can just jump from wherever and never take damage. But overall, this is just kind of a kind of a beginner unyielding piece. So far we've crafted 30 pieces, and there's quite a few effects that we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen Overeaters yet, haven't seen Mutant Slayers, we haven't seen AP Refresh. There's probably other ones that come to mind, but yeah, there's a few really good effects that we haven't seen yet. So hopefully we can change that sometime soon. So let's do another torso. And we have life saving with radiation resistance and chance to deal poison damage to melee attackers. Okay, life saving. I don't really like life saving. If you have a whole set of it, then you're probably going to get revived every time you get down. But one piece, I don't really like stuff that only gives you a chance at something. And this is only going to give you a 50-50 chance at surviving. So for the most part, I don't want one piece of life saving, and I don't want a whole set of it. So that's just not an effect that I like. Radiation resistance, already talked about why I'm not interested in that. Chance to deal poison damage. You know, I don't think most enemies don't seem to be susceptible to poison damage. So that 3rd star probably is a 5% chance to do nothing. Next up, we have a left arm, and it will be Assassins with +1 endurance and more effectiveness of Stimpaks, Radaway, and Radex. 3rd star is kind of a nothing. Maybe if you had five pieces of that had the effectiveness, so an extra 25%. But for the most part, just switch to something better. You could use super stims instead or whatever. But yeah, that 3rd star, I don't really want that. +1 endurance, don't really care about that. And damage from humans could be part of a mix and match, although humans in this game are not all that dangerous. Although one more thing about Assassins, if you had a full set and you're doing something where you're doing a lot of explosion damage, pretty much negates any damage you could do to yourself. So a full set of Assassins could actually be useful depending on the type of build you have, where you're doing a lot of, where there's a lot of situations where you could be doing self-damage. So it will protect you from that. But I'm not one of those, I don't have that kind of build, so it's not something that would be useful to this character. Now we have a left leg, and it will be Troubleshooters with +1 charisma and ammo weight reduction. I do run the ammo weight perks, so ammo weight reduction on my armor isn't going to do anything at all. +1 charisma, maybe save me some money when I'm trading, but I don't care about that either. So Troubleshooters is good, but this is basically a 1-star piece. Now we have a right leg, and it will be Cloaking with less disease chance and chance to reduce damage while sprinting. Chance to reduce damage while sprinting could be good. I do tend to stay in motion, but I'm not, I tend to be staying there and shooting stuff. So yeah, probably not all that useful. Those kind of perks, I know people do like those. The chance to reduce damage by sprinting or by standing still. I know that could be a popular effect. I haven't found it to be terribly useful for me though. That disease chance, reduced disease chance, don't care about that. If I can't tell if it's working or not, if I have no way to know if it's working, it's just not an effect I want. Plus, curing diseases is very easy. And cloaking, again, I just think I can't imagine that that's a useful effect. Maybe it is. Maybe there's some use case where cloaking is just the most amazing thing and I'm just missing it. But for me, I just see it as a completely useless effect. And a right arm is going to be Ghoul Slayers. I think that's the first time we've seen Ghoul Slayers. Less explosion damage, which we've seen a lot, and less limb damage. Now, less limb damage could be useful. It could help you from getting reduced the chance of being crippled. So if you had a full set of that, enemies crippling you could be pretty challenging for them. So I could see a use case for that. It's not typically something I'm useful for or I'm looking for, but I could see the use there. Less explosion damage could be useful. Ghoul Slayers, part of a mix and match set, could be useful, and there are a lot of ghouls in the game, although ghouls don't tend to be super dangerous. But this could be, this would be like a so-so piece. So far, I have not rolled a single piece that would cause me to switch from the armor I'm currently wearing. There's no pieces that I would swap out and swap in for anything I've rolled. So maybe we'll turn that around at some point. Maybe it'll be this particular roll. So we've got another torso, and it is, the first appearance of Overeaters. Let's see. So we've got Overeaters, Hunger and Thirst grow slower, which I guess those first and second stars work well together, and a chance to deal fire damage to melee attackers. Yeah, this is basically a 1-star piece. So I do use Perfect Bubblegum, so Hunger and Thirst growing slower does nothing for me. And chance to deal fire damage, I mean, it's fine, I guess, but it's not a super exciting 3rd star. So it's basically a 1-star piece. and I just have no interest in swapping 1-star pieces for what I'm using already. So unfortunately, this is going in the script machine. Another left arm will be Zealots with reduced disease chance and ammo weight reduction. Okay, ammo weight's that's not useful for me at all. Reduced disease chance, I don't want that either. So this is basically a 1-star Zealots. Zealots is useful, but it's just a 1-star. Now we have a left leg, and it will be Aristocrats with +1 intelligence and less limb damage. Aristocrats, I love it on ranged weapons. I like it on melee weapons. I don't want it on my armor. +1 intelligence, good for leveling, not something I care about. And less limb damage, so that 3rd star could be okay, but the first 2, not so much. Time for another right arm, and it will be Mutant Slayers. I think that's the first time Mutant Slayers has come up. So, +1 endurance, chance to breathe underwater. Mutant Slayers, that's one of my favorite mix and match pieces, because super mutants tend to do more damage than a lot of other enemies. +1 endurance, it's a little bit extra health, but other than that, it's not something that I find super useful. And breathe underwater, again, till we get those underwater regions or underwater levels, that's not really something that's going to be all that helpful either. So this is basically a 1-star for me, and 1-star is no good. And another right leg. This one is another Mutant Slayers with reduced disease chance and chance reduced damage while sprinting. Okay, 2nd star, I don't care about the reduced disease chance. Chance reduced damage while sprinting. Again, that's an okay effect if the other 2 stars were perfect, but the other 2 stars are not. Mutant Slayers is okay, but overall this is just kind of, This is a script piece, is what this is. So far, the only thing I'm getting out of this is less weight in my stash from legendary modules. So we've got a chest piece. Let's see what we can do with this. Hunters, +1 agility and radiation recovery. I think that's the first time +1 agility has shown up. Now, as special stars go, that's about the only one that I'm okay with on my range character, because that means a little bit of extra stealth and a little bit of extra AP. I mean, it's not really a preferred star that I have, but it's so-so if the other stars were great. Fortunately, that 3rd star isn't useful at all, and Hunters is one of the less desirable mix and match pieces that I could get. So overall, this is not something I will use. Next up, we've got a left arm, and it is Zealots with radiation resistance, chance to deal cryo damage. Less radiation resistance, plus radiation resistance rather, not something I'm interested in. Zealots is an okay, okay for mix and match. Chance to deal, whatever damage to melee attackers, it's fine. It's not something I care about one way or the other, but this is not a piece that I get excited about. This one is a left leg, and it is Chameleon. Less explosion damage and chance to deal fire damage. So I don't like the Chameleon effect. Now, this isn't one where I say it's bad. I just like seeing my character. So I don't like my character being invisible. I like to be able to see the gun. I like to be able to see what I'm doing. So I don't really want Chameleon. In fact, if the other 2 stars were perfect, I probably still wouldn't use it, just because this is a stealth character, so I'd be invisible most of the time, and that just, visually, it's not something I want. So for people that like Chameleon, there you go, but it's not something I like to use. Less explosion damage is fine. Chance to deal fire damage, it's fine. But this is a Chameleon piece, and for me, that's usually auto script. This is a right arm, and we've got Nocturnal, Hunger and Thirst growing slower, radiation recovery. Nocturnal, never a fan. I don't want it on weapons. I don't want it on armor. I don't want it in the game. Hunger, Thirst growing slower, not useful when I have perfect bubblegum. Radiation recovery, again, not useful to me. So this is a instant script. And this time it's a right leg, and it is Assassins with cryo resist and breathe underwater. Okay, breathe underwater. Not useful in this game. Cryo resist, not really useful either. So this is a 1-star Assassin's piece, which is not something that I want. So there's a couple effects that come to mind that I don't think we've seen yet. So still no AP refresh. So if you're looking for a full set of that, ooh, you'd be hurting for sure. And I don't think haven't seen Weightless yet either, although maybe it can't roll on Civil Engineer. I don't actually know. Weightless is an effect that I want. It's just popped into my head that we haven't seen that yet. So as many as we've rolled, there's still effects on the table that haven't shown up yet. So let's see what happens with this one. Another Zealots piece with intelligence and less limb damage. Yeah, +1 intelligence is just not a star that I want. Less limb damage, it's another one of those that's fine if the other 2 stars are great. But yeah, overall, this is just going to be script. In fact, so far, everything I've rolled will be script. So hopefully that's not all this is, but you never know. So this is a left arm, and we get Troubleshooters with +1 agility, less limb damage. If this was a starting set and I didn't have any armor already, this would actually be all right. Troubleshooters, I mean, less damage from robots is a good thing. +1 agility, extra stealth, extra AP, that's a good thing. Less limb damage, less chance of being crippled, so that's also an okay thing. It's an okay effect. But overall, it just isn't all that exciting. Yeah, so far I'm being reminded very strongly why I don't like rolling armor. It just, yeah, it's a very discouraging process. But we've got left leg, and maybe this will be the piece that makes me happy that I did this. Or not. Okay, so auto stim, you know, auto stim is just, I mean, it's okay. It's just not something that's super useful for the way that I play this character. Plus AP regen. We finally got action point regen. So that's a good one. Break slower, it's okay. So if that first, you know, honestly, if that first star was maybe Overeaters, I might consider this. But so far, this is, you know, AP regen is good. Break slower is okay. Yeah, it's just so-so. I haven't gotten any piece that I would say is even remotely amazing. And this one is a right arm, and it is another assassin. Got quite a few assassins pieces. If I was looking for that, I could probably put a set together. Not a great set, but I could put a set together. So assassins, it's so-so. +1 perception, I don't think I would notice one way or the other. And chance to reduce damage while not moving. So that's not super useful. I mean, I guess in a daily op, if you're standing there, it's fine, but it's not generally an effect I'm looking for. So this is going into the machine. And we've got another right leg, and this one is so weightless can roll, so that's answered there. Weightless isn't something I'm looking for, but less explosion damage, weapon weight reduction. Actually, if I was gonna put this on a mule, the only thing missing is +1 strength, because we have a piece that doesn't weigh much. We've got weapon weight reduction, so yeah, for a mule character, maybe, but I actually don't have any mule characters, so this isn't useful for me. So it looks like there are 3 rounds to go before this waste of modules is finished. So let's do another chess piece. Troubleshooters, +1 perception, chance to deal poison damage. Troubleshooters, okay as mix and match, +1 perception, not interested in that. And that 3rd star is just whatever. I mainly care about the first 2 stars. So the 3rd star could kind of be whatever, but the first 2 stars have to be a perfect combo for me to switch into this armor. Yeah, so far I think I've gotten 1 Overeaters piece is all, so I wouldn't mind a few of those. Good pieces, not just Overeaters with garbage effects. Maybe this one. This is gonna be a perfect Overeaters piece, this left arm. Well, wow, I called the Overeaters part, but the rest, oh geez, that's terrible. Jeez, I've got 2 Overeaters pieces, but it's been, yeah, terrible. Hunger or Thirst going slower has 0 use for me, and same with that 3rd star, extra sweet spot while picking locks. That's not useful again. So it's like a 1-star Overeaters piece, and I'm not looking to get 1-star pieces. And we've got another left leg, and this one is Mutants Civil. I think that's the first time we've seen Mutants. +25 fire resist and less limb damage. Okay, Mutants, again, it gives you extra resistance if you're mutated, and I just don't want extra resistance. I want damage reduction is what I want. Fire resist is good. I do like that. And less limb damage, that's another one of those. Okay, if I have it, it's fine. If I don't, it's fine. But this is basically a 1-star. For my purposes, it's a 1-star piece. Another right arm is going to be life-saving with +1 endurance, increased sweet spot. So this is just 3 stars that I don't want. Time for a right leg, and it's Nocturnal, +1 luck, more effective Stimpaks right away Radex. Nocturnal, don't like that at all. +1 luck could be useful, but that is not enough to move the needle for me in terms, I do use critical hits on this character, but +1 luck is not enough to move the needle one way or the other in terms of how frequently I will do critical hits. So +1 luck is effectively useless, and that 3rd star is not useful either, so this is definite script. So it looks like we have 2 of everything to go. So let's just get right to it with a chess piece. Ghoul Slayers, +1 charisma and break slower. Ghoul Slayers, you know, part of mix and match, but yeah, ghouls aren't really that dangerous. +1 charisma is not helpful at all. Break slower, it's okay if the first 2 stars are perfect, which they're not. And a left arm will be auto stim, +1 strength, less limb damage. +1 strength could be useful if you are playing melee. This character is a ranged character though, so +1 strength doesn't really help me. It gives me extra carry weight, but I'm mostly looking for something that's going to be helpful in combat, and that just isn't it. Less limb damage is so-so, but yeah, this is a throwaway piece. Another left leg coming up. Weightless with reduced disease chance and reduced damage, or chance to reduce damage while not moving. Weightless, I'm not interested in that. I want something that's going to be helpful to me, and reduce weight on that is just not. Reduced disease chance, I don't want that effect either. And that 3rd star, I don't really care about one way or the other, so this is going away. And another right arm will be Chameleon with AP regen and chance to reduce damage while not moving. Chameleon for me is auto script, and that is what this is. And we've got a right leg that is Mutant Slayers with AP regen and weapon weight reduction. Oh, wow, okay. This is a piece I really like. I finally got a piece I really like. Mutant Slayers, one of my favorite effects for a mix and match because super mutants can really hurt you. AP regen, that's also a really good effect. I do prefer, for me, like that's the order of things that I want. I want poison or fire resist. That's my preferred second star. AP regen though is number 2. So I do like that. And weapon weight reduction, that can be useful. Help me with some looting, keep the weight of things down. So this, I'll have to compare it to what I'm already running, but this may be something that I start using. So this will be the last round of crafting, so let's get it started with a chest. And we've got bolstering. I think that's the first time we've seen that. +1 charisma and chance to deal fire damage. So I'm full health, so bolstering doesn't do me any good. If I was low health, it would be unyielding. I mean, bolstering, you go low health for the unyielding bonus, not for bolstering. So bolstering, if I was gonna mix and match like a Vanguard bolstering set, maybe, but I'm not doing that. So this is not useful to me. And charisma, not useful. Yeah, this is just a trash piece. Now we've got a left arm, and it is weightless with AP regen, food, drink, and chem weight reduction. I don't think we've seen that third star before either. So AP regen is good. The rest of it, I mean, I do have I have a backpack mod that reduces the food and drink weight, and I'm using traveling pharmacy. So that third star, if I had a full set, maybe take out some perks and do something different. But overall, that's just not useful to me. And we have the final left leg, and it will be Hunters with +1 endurance and less noise harder to detect while sneaking. I don't think I've gotten that yet either, so I think that's the first case. I do like that star, the harder to detect while sneaking if it's working. I'm not sure if it's working, but if it's working, I really do like that third star. But the first 2 stars, I'm really not that interested in. Now we have a right arm, and it will be Chameleon. Yeah, Chameleon means instant script, and actually those other 2 stars aren't good either. So yeah, this is just 3 stars of crap. And the very last piece will be a right leg. Let's see if we go out with a bang or a whimper. Whimper it is, life-saving, so we have a 50% chance to get help, so that's not really something I want. +1 agility is so-so. Junk weight could help when looting, but I do have Fallout First, so I could just use a tent for that. So yeah, this is, we're ending with script. And that is how crafting armor goes for me generally. It's just a lot of disappointment. So I got 1 piece that I might use and 49 pieces that I definitely won't use. So overall, this is why I don't roll off. This is why I don't roll armor very often. I tend to go with just whatever is good enough. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit one of the buttons, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Thank you very much.